Okay, this is Colin Thompson interviewing.
William D. Epperson. I go by Donnie.
Okay. Could you spell your full name for us, please?
William, William, Donald, Donald, Epperson, Epperson. And like I said, I go by Donnie, Donnie.
Could you tell me your date of birth?
11/17/1953.
And could you tell me your rank and what branch of the military you served?
I was in the U.S. Army for 23 years, and I retired as a Chief Warrant Officer 2.
And when you were in the military, what was your official job description?
I was it was a 915 Alpha, was the MOS, and it was a maintenance tech. So I stayed in the motor pool all the time.
So by maintenance, what do you mean specifically?
Well, wheel vehicles, track vehicles, anything that's going to roll on the ground.
And you repaired them?
I did it first when I first went in, but as you gain rank, you sort of supervise instead of getting your hands dirty so much. But it still felt good to get in there with the soldiers and get your hands dirty every once in a while.
Okay. So, as part of your job, did you deploy to?
Yes. It was in August of, I think it was 1990. Is that right? When right before Desert Shield started, I was stationed out here at Fort Stewart, and it first came down that they were going to send a small group of people over there, but as Saddam Hussein got further and further inside Kuwait, then that's when the whole post got activated, and my whole battalion, company, everything got sent over there. So that was in August of, I think it was 1990. Stayed over for about 8 months. So I came home in, I think it was April of 1991. Is that right? I think that's right.
So what was your battalion and company?
It was 724th Main Support Battalion. We supplied maintenance, parts for the 24th Infantry Division.
Okay. So when you were deployed, how, I understand most of the job is mostly fighting, though there's going to be a lot of downtime.
Well, mainly you work 7 days a week. There wasn't, I guess you could call it downtime. We got out there and might have played a little football or something like that. But if there was a vehicle down, if it was broke down and what we call deadline, then if we had the parts, we had to get it fixed. I mean, you had to work straight through to get that vehicle back up. So there was a little bit of downtime, and we goofed around some, but we got our job done. So that's the main thing.
So how do you remember the mail system working?
Well, our mail going back to the United States was free. We didn't have to put no stamps on it. Now, it coming in, I really don't know before it got to our battalion, then down to our company. But we had mail call once a day, and we'd go over and pick our mail up from headquarters. And as far as I know, it worked real good. I mean, I was constantly getting mail, and that's care packages. I got those quite a bit. But as far as I know, it worked real well.
Okay. So, do you remember any specifics of of how people were expected to send things, or if you wanted to send?
I mean,
things
you had
back?
to ride home. That was one thing. You had to keep in contact with your family because you sure didn't want your company commander or battalion commander get a email or something like that from a family member and says, look, I don't know where my soldier's at. I don't know where my husband's at. I don't know what's going on. So you didn't want him coming to you and saying, look here, sit down and write your wife or your mom a letter and let her know. So, yeah, I was continuously writing letters and in my wife's case, she sent me a little cassette recorder, one of those miniature cassettes, and we'd talk on it. I'd talk on it for a couple of weeks and then send it back, and then she'd do the same, send it back, and that's a big way that me and her corresponded. Yeah.
Interesting. So, with like letters and stuff, presumably these are all handwritten, or was this or was this at a time where people would type them up?
Oh no, we we didn't have no typewriter in the motor pool. All the computer that we did have was mainly for parts, so we could order parts for the vehicles and whatever else we needed. But no, everything was handwritten, except for, like I say, that little cassette that I would send back, every couple of weeks or so. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we probably still have those cassettes upstairs. I don't know if they'd be any good or not, or I don't even have enough to play them on now, but it'd probably be pretty neat to listen to them sometime or another.
Were they full-size cassettes? Were they?
No, it's just a little bitty miniature, like inch and a half or something, square. Little handheld, almost like a Walkman, if you remember those. But it was a tiny cassette, and it would hold a couple of hours, I guess. So it's pretty neat. That way you got to hear somebody's voice. And my son was 1980. He was only about 10. I think it was somewhere around 10 years old. So, you got to hear his voice, and that's pretty cool.
Interesting. So you mentioned that you remember getting care packages. Could you tell me a little bit about those?
Oh yeah, my parents, they lived in Virginia at the time, and I had a cousin that he had a Little Debbie route, the cookies and all. Well, after a couple of days, or I don't know, a week or whatever, he would have to take those off the shelf if they didn't sell. So he sold them to friends or whoever for half price. So my parents would buy, a good sized box, probably a foot by foot, and load that thing down with Debbie cakes and send it over to me. And of course, the guys in my platoon, I had to share with them. So that was, they'd see them honey buns coming or those Little Debbie pies or something like that. Boy, and they was all over me. But they done that probably, they might have done it close to once a month, I bet. We'd get those packages in, and of course my wife, she would send me stuff too, but you have always had to share.
So do you happen to remember any other noteworthy packages that you got?
Well, not me so much, but one of the guys in the company, one of his family members sent him one of those Instamatic cameras, a little 60-second deal, and that was a big hit with everybody. He would loan it to other platoons in the company, and that way you could take pictures of each other or whatever. And as long as you had the film, and you get one of your family members to send the film over there to you. So that was a big hit, that little 60-second camera. Yeah. There was they had something going on in the company where the wives would get together and bake cookies, and they would send them over there like that. So that was pretty cool too. Yeah.
Interesting. So were there, other than like Debbie cakes and cookies, were there any other foods that you'd commonly see get sent over?
Well, you might get I'm trying to think of what to know. Ramen noodles. They'd send that, she'd send that stuff over there and stuff like that. Something that you could just pour water in and hot water and eat up. But it was, but the rest of it was MREs. So I mean, we survived.
So, what were some of the favorites of letters and any kind of mail that you received?
Well, any kind of mail was your favorite. Whether the good part about it was you didn't get no bills. so, uh, so when I would see something come from my mom, of course that was my mom and dad, my wife. Sometimes my son would write one. What was pretty cool was my wife was working for the school system, and the kids they would adopt a soldier. So you'd get letters from the kids and write them back, and they'd send Christmas cards, homemade Christmas cards and stuff like that. That was really really good to see. And when I got back, it had been a couple of years or so, I guess, and I was working at the school at the time. And this lady walked up to me and said, "You probably don't know me, but my name is so and so, and you may not remember, but my daughter, she was in the 5th grade at the time, and she was working at the school. She said my daughter wrote to you as a 5th grader." So that was really, and see, I had forgot all about it. And then I went down to her room and looked her up, and we've been good friends ever since.
So, you've sort of hinted at it, but what sort of emotions, like how did getting these things from home actually make you and the other soldiers feel?
Well, it jacked your spirits up a little bit. 24/7, you was out there looking at that desert or working under a vehicle or whatever. Your spirits get down, and you get the mail in, and it really jacks your spirits up. If you got a picture, you could hang on the wall or something like that in your tent, then boy, that just set everything off. But your spirits would get down, and you needed something to pick them up a little bit, and that mail system was the ticket. Yeah, I don't know if you can see some of the pictures over here that when we was in the desert, and there's some over there too that was taken and sent to me. But I've got quite a few others that to remind me of what was going on. One thing that was so funny is somebody sent us and I don't remember who it was, but somebody sent us a Frisbee, and one of the guys in my tent wrote on it, send plane tickets to Saudi Arabia or something like that. And it was hanging on the wall, so like you could take the Frisbee and throw it back to the United States, and somebody send you a plane ticket. Let me get out of here. it was just a big joke. It was fun though. It was fun.
Were there any other items like the Frisbee that were served as a big morale boost to people?
Man, I got to get this one out. One thing that happened while we was over there, and it was probably right around the 1st of December. Myself and my driver, we were coming down the road in a Humvee, and there was a 5-ton truck in front of us. And people are probably not going to believe this. Actual truth. And I've still got the suit in there to prove it. We were coming down the road, there's a 5-ton truck in front of us, and a box fell out. And I told my driver to pull over. I said, "We'll see what's in that box." Well, we thought it was some kind of part or something for a vehicle. Got that thing inside the Humvee and opened it up, and I could give you 1,000 chances you'd never guess what it was. It was a Santa suit. It wasn't somebody's that a family member sent them. It was from the United States government sent it over there to a particular unit, I guess. Maybe not the government, but somebody ordered it through through the military. Well, instead of me trying to track that unit down, because I mean that vehicle's long gone, we kept it, and I've got it in there in the closet. And during Christmas, I dress up as Santa Claus and go around the different tents and all that. And I take the guys and girls a little piece of candy or something out of MREs and give it to them. We take it. And what was so cool, we had that Instamatic camera, and they would take a picture of Santa Claus sitting on their bunk inside their tent. So that was really neat. But you know, people hear that and they go, "No, no way!" But I've got the suit in there to prove it. Now, I got pictures here somewhere. They're probably in the house, but I got pictures of me dressed up as Santa Claus sitting on people's bunk. It was just, I mean, it was meant to be. And see, I still do it today. I still dress up every year as Santa Claus and go to different schools and people's houses or business or whatever they want me to do. But I'll dress up as Santa Claus now. It's, you know, that's a God thing.
So you touched on it before, the schools doing a system where they would sponsor soldiers. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I mean, be a certain class might adopt this company, and there were certain kids in there, you know, and they would just write different letters back and forth, you know. As long as the soldier writ them back, then, you know, they was going to write another one, and that went on and on and on until I come back. Like I said, I met that one that, but that's the only one I ever did meet that wrote to me. But there were several, and there were quite a bit of them that would send you a Christmas card, homemade Christmas card. So that was just too neat. Of course, you know, if you had a birthday thrown in there, you know, they'd find out your birthday and they'd make you a homemade birthday card and send that to you. It was, but when that school sent that out to the kids to adopt a soldier, that was really, really helpful to your spirits. That really brightened you up. See, those kids would take the time to do that for you. Yeah.
Okay. So, in your opinion, why do you think that that was such a common thing where schools and churches would sponsor companies of soldiers?
I don't know. I think after Vietnam, I think the American people sort of, I think at that time, they backed the military up a lot more than they did back during Vietnam. Because you know, back during Vietnam, when Vietnam soldiers would come home, or U.S. soldiers come home, a lot of them got spit at, had stuff thrown at them, you know, and they were called baby killers and everything else, because I think the news was over there a lot more. So the news would broadcast stuff like that. And I think the American people learned after Vietnam that, you know, we need to, I don't know how you, we need to recognize our military and what they do for us a whole lot more. So, you know, when the school's done that, that's pretty cool.
So, you mentioned the one case where you got the Santa suit out of
Yeah.
out of a box falling out of a truck.
Yeah.
In your experience, were there other cases where mail would kind of get lost in transit?
I don't remember any. Of course, that's been a long time ago, but I do not remember any of anybody saying anything that really got lost. And I'm sure there was probably letters or something that didn't make it, but I don't remember me having any mail lost.
Okay.
Mail system was real good, real good. I got to give it to them.
So, you mentioned that sending things back was, did it require stamps?
That's right.
Was that just for letters? Did that include, say, you wanted to... send like odd items home?
You know, I don't know if it was boxes too of stuff, because I don't remember mailing anything back other than those little cassettes. I mean, I brought stuff back. You know, if I got to go anywhere to a store or anything like that, and I bought something, sometimes they had like a little traveling PX that would come around, and or you could go to a place that was set up, you know, like a PX. You could buy stuff, but I just kept everything boxed up, and then when I got back, then that's when I gave it away to everybody. But I don't remember sending any boxes back. No.
Okay. So, given that with the advance of technology, video chatting is getting a lot easier,
Yeah.
do you think that is, for lack of a better word, do you think that's a good thing?
Oh yeah. When you could sit down and you know, it's not a week apart or 2 weeks apart, when you can sit down and look at somebody on a computer and talk to them about stuff that's going on today, right now. Oh yeah, that's got to help a lot. Got to help a lot. So you feel sorry for maybe somebody that don't have a computer, but yeah, I guess you could always go to a library or something and sit down and be able to call somebody. But yeah, I can see that being really helpful.
So, do you think that because communication is going to be so much easier, do you think that that's going to lead into less like things sent, or do you think that's going to?
I believe that it would help the mail. I don't know about helping the mail system. There wouldn't be a lot written down. You know, emails. I mean, that's like now, and you could get the answer back within a few minutes. Yeah, that's got to help a lot. And you know, sometimes soldiers are not very good about sitting down and writing letters. That's when I was in. Now I don't know about now. I don't know what it was about sitting down and writing a letter that was so hard for a soldier to do, but we did have people that would get called in and say, "Hey, dude, you need to write your mom." So, yeah, it's got to help a lot now.
Okay. So you say that even though there's less like keepsakes in the form of letters, that it's still the instant communication is still a significant improvement?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we still got the letters upstairs, and you know that me and her wrote back and forth, and like I said, I think the cassettes are up there, but just being able to hear somebody's voice, and whether it's good news, well, I'd rather hear the good news, but you know, got this going on or that going on, and you can find out about it right now and maybe take care of it, you know, right over the computer. That's got to help. Got to help a lot. But we didn't have that. I mean, we could call home whenever we get to a phone, but you didn't want to sit there for 15 minutes talking on the phone because there were other soldiers back behind you. So time was limited on the telephone. So you got on there and you said your business and get off and let the next man in line come on. So.
Okay. So, in your experience, did you notice as the war went on, the time and conflict went on, that things were coming less frequently, or would you?
It might got a little bit slower because you were on the move a lot. So I think that it slowed down some, but it didn't stop it. Because you might be at this location today, and tomorrow you could be 5 miles up the road or something, or you could be headed back for parts or anything like that. So I was in a trucking company, transportation. So them boys was on the move all the time. So and sometimes the maintenance people had to move with them. I can remember setting up a when they was running back and forth, we set up a place about halfway where when they come in, we would check their vehicles over right then and try to fix anything that we could. We had some parts on hand that we could take care of, and we done that. And we just had to maybe wait a few more days till the mail got to us, as we was set up, not right there with the company all the time. So yeah, it slowed down a little bit, but it still got there.
Okay. So you wouldn't say that people actually started sending things less? It was just that it took longer to get to you?
No, it might take a little bit longer, but no, I don't see people. It didn't slow them down a bit, writing or sending the tapes or whatever, pictures. No, that I don't think it slowed them down none.
Okay.
It might take the GI a little, the soldier a little bit longer to respond, but when he got a break, to sit down and I would imagine a lot of times, I know I did, when you finally did get a break, you might not want to write a letter. You might want to just take a nap real quick. So your rest was just as important. So, but I don't see it slowing it down any. No.
Okay. So, say you were going to put together a package for somebody currently serving overseas. What would you think would be the best things to put in it?
Oh, and see, we have done that. I belong to a motorcycle group called the Faith Riders, and I remember back around 2009 and 10, somewhere around in there, up until the time I retired from the school. And if the kids had sold, or dad or mom or somebody like that over there, then our group would adopt them and we would send them care packages. But, you send them health items, maybe some decent toilet paper, toothbrush, toothpaste, any kind of, thing like that. See, what else did we put in there? We put little Debbie's and stuff like that, bubble gum, or just whatever's going to lift their spirits. Put it in there. I mean, it'll tickle them to get it. And foot powder, anything like that. Any kind of health item that they could use. That they, sitting out in the middle of the desert, they're not going to be able to get up and walk next door to get it. So whatever they get is a big help. We sent Bibles. Trying to think what else we did send. Oh, sometimes we'd even put little toys in there, just to occupy their time, like a little truck or something like that. They'd look at it and go, man, just anything to pick their spirits up a little bit. But it's pretty cool to send maybe a little game like tic-tac-toe or something like that in there, and give them something to do. Crossword puzzles, anything like that. So it's been a while since we sent one. Of course, I've been retired from the school for going on 6 years. So I haven't sent anything back in that long anyway. But yeah, we did that for a while. Yeah.
So, from your experience in the Faith Riders and with the school, what do you remember, or could you tell me about what the process was like sending things to people?
It could get expensive. There wasn't really no big deal. I mean, you packaged it up. Of course, you had to tell the post office if you had anything in there, that was going to blow up or something like that. But I mean, it was just like every day you go up there and you mail a package, only it was going to the middle of the desert somewhere. Or it could be going, to Iraq, to some special unit or something. But it was no big deal. It was just like going to the post office and sending it off. But that thing get up to 8 or 10 pounds, something like that. It could get expensive sending that stuff. So it was good that we had our Faith Riders group to fall back on, because we'd have fundraisers or whatever and raise some money and be able to send that stuff. So that was if it had to come out of your pocket, it could get expensive.
So what were some of the costs involved, and around like could you give me an estimate as to like how much?
Oh man, that's been so long ago. I wouldn't doubt if it wouldn't cost $30 or something like that. But if you sent 2 or 3 of those a month, man, that got expensive. I mean, you just didn't have one soldier. You'd liable to have 2 or 3 that you adopted. Send that stuff to. So, yeah, it could get expensive if you kept sending one a month or something like that to them. And what was pretty neat is I think I've somewhere over on my desk, I've got money that people have sent from other countries, not U.S. dollars or anything like that for donations. Because if we got anything like that, then we used it. But yeah, I've got money and coins and stuff like that that the guys would send back and give to me. So,
Would you get other things from the people that you sent things to, or was it more often just?
I think maybe a letter. I don't remember ever getting anything particular except for that money, different coins and paper money. Somewhere around here, I've got some from probably India and Iraq and Saudi Arabia. I've got money from a little bit everywhere, but I guess I'm not one of those that had a very good file system, so it could be in that drawer, it could be in the drawer, it could be upstairs. It's hard to tell where it's at.
Sorry. So, is there anything in particular that things noteworthy relating to mail or packages or anything that you feel you want to talk about specifically that I haven't brought up?
No, it was. I mean, mainly the care packages because those little Debbie cakes, man, they just when those things come in and your soldier would come in, you was able to give them a little piece of home, something that they're not going to be able to get, like that. When you get, a good sized box like that of little Debbie's, and it was pretty cool. It helped everybody out, but I think that was the main thing for me, that when I'd get stuff like that in, be able to help somebody else.
Okay. But yeah, if like I said, if there's any particular stories you want to talk about, you're free. Feel free to
Man, it's been so long ago. I'd have
anything that's on your mind that you feel like would be interesting to share. The floor is open to you now.
Well, I think the biggest thing was that Santa suit, because that brought in so much joy for everybody. And there was, I can't remember who had it, but somebody had a camera, but I can't remember how you sent it. I don't think it was on a disc or something like that. I don't know if it was maybe on a little, I don't know how it was, but we were able to take like a 5-minute video or something, and they sent it back some way. I don't know how they done it. But I remember sitting out at picnic table and somebody recording your like a little 5-minute deal. But like I said, man, I can't remember how they sent it back. But I remember soldiers coming up, and all my soldiers knew my family, because before we left, we had a little thing going on that we called a pig out. And about once a month on a Friday at our motor pool, we would just shut everything down, and our families would come in and bring, just like a homecoming at a church. Well, that's what we called a pig out. And we'd get together with the families. And so everybody knew everybody's family that was in my section. So, as you was making your tape or something, somebody come by and yell, tell Miss Teresa I said hey, or tell Scotty, good luck in the ball game, or something like that. Those times were pretty special. And I can't remember if I've got, like I said, I can't remember how we sent them. So I don't know if I've got anything like that left or not that we took care of. But I've probably got a still picture of me sitting or one of my soldiers sitting at the picnic table where we done that at. But that was pretty cool. And another soldier to take the time to recognize somebody in your family, to tell them just hello, or we love them. But and when we got back, we continued the same thing. I mean, once a month or so, we would have a little get together and call it pig out. And, we just sit there and eat for an hour or so and carry on a conversation. Everybody go home for the afternoon. So everybody knew everybody in my section. So family was important, especially over there. But I guess if I had the time and maybe sit down and thought about it, there might be something come up. I've got pictures of the troops. One girl and one guy, they got in a real bad wreck. I've got pictures of it. I don't think they're in here. We had one soldier get killed in my unit. He had a vehicle accident. Like I said, it was a transportation company. So he had a vehicle accident. It rolled over with him, and it killed him. But right off the top of my head, I don't remember anything that was, that I'd want to share right now. But I'm sure there's other stuff that that went on that I could, but I just can't remember any right now. On the spur of the moment, I just don't.
That's all right. I just wanted to make sure to give you an opportunity if there's anything that maybe I missed that you thought would be
I
would be good for people to know about.
I appreciate you coming by and all that. It was fun, but when you sit here and you think about it, things are coming back to you, and things that were said, and I still keep up with some of my soldiers, on Facebook. I have one from St. Louis, in the St. Louis area. I bet he calls once every 2 weeks. There's so many that, like I say, it's on Facebook, and we got each other's phone numbers, and we'll correspond back and forth. I got one that's in South Carolina that I get to see. He rides a motorcycle, I ride a motorcycle, and we would meet halfway between here and South Carolina and at a restaurant and just sit down and eat lunch and share time together, and we take off our separate ways. But staying in contact with these guys, and all of them are pretty special, but some of them, just they were really special. Like I said before, these guys knew my family, and when I get on the phone here, well, they want to talk to Teresa. So staying in contact with these guys is something I look forward to. I got friends in Texas, and they're everywhere. That we still correspond back and forth with each other. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, curious question: are you a Georgia native? Have you lived here?
No, my dad was in the service for. He spent 2 years in the Navy. I think that was from 40. He was born in 1930. I think he joined in 47. Spent 2 years in the Navy. Got out. And then he went in the Air Force, and he spent another 21 years in the Air Force, giving him 23 years. He retired on, I can't remember if it was December the 1st, 1970 or 71, I think. And then as soon as I graduated from high school, I'd already had raised my hand and went in on the delayed entry program. So as soon as I graduated, like a couple of weeks later, I left and went to boot camp. I spent close to 6 years in the Army. Then I got out, but I went back to Virginia where my parents were living at the time, and started working in a factory. And it didn't take me long, man, to find out this just ain't cut out. I can't work in this factory for the rest of my life. So I just got a wild hair one day, and I said, I'm going back in the Army. So that was in 1978, I think. I stayed out for a little over a year, and I went back in service, man. I retired on December 1st, 1994. So 23 years, that's kind of funny because 23 years from the day my dad retired, 23 years later, December 1st, 1994, his December 1st, 1971, 23 years later, I retired to the day. So that was pretty interesting. But I've been everywhere. It seems like I've been everywhere. So many different states, and I got to recognize the family too, because me being away, that was hard on them. I mean, they got to pay the bills. They got to do this. They got to do that. They got to take care of everything that a lot of it I took care of while I was at home. So they had a big part in keeping me sane, I guess, or keeping any soldier sane. So you got to give it to the families, to the wives, or the kids. Being without somebody for a month or all the way up to a year, more than a year, it weighs on you. But you got to give it to the families that we owe them a debt of gratitude too. So.
Okay. Well, I thank you greatly for agreeing to participate in the interview.
Well, hey man, like I said, it was fun, and like I said, I hope I've done you some good. I don't know if you want to take any snapshots of these pictures, but you can see over there where we've been working on vehicles, and I think in that one you can see where I've got a blue bucket out in front of my vehicle and was washing clothes. When I first got over there, but it took 42 days before I had my first shower till we got showers set up out in the desert. I can tell you one funny thing that happened. We got the shower units, and there was just like a big water bucket on top. I can't remember how much it held, and it was just a free flow water. Had a little door on it, with the other three sides blocked. If it's chilly at night, and there wasn't no wind blocking you or anything, you go out there and take a shower. But water was one of the things. And I was in the motor pool, and we had to have a wrecker to go out and pick vehicles up or whatever and bring them back. Well, and I honestly don't know where it came from, but I know who brought it there. But I woke up one morning and walked out beside the shower, and there's a truck sitting out there. It's a water tanker. It was a old Mercedes-Benz water tanker. It was full of water. I asked my guys, I said, where'd this thing come from? Ain't got a clue, Chief. I don't know where that thing come from. And it just didn't pop in overnight. So I guess my guys went out sometime during the night, scouting, and said, hey, look at there. There's a water tanker. Let's take that thing back. That was so it was a while before we run out of water for our shower. That's the thing. So that was pretty cool too. And just like a GI, nobody knows where it come from. I have no clue. It just arrived, Chief. So that was, little stories like that. That was pretty interesting.
Are there any more things like this, or just things?
Oh, there was
appeared?
all the time something, and you might need this to, to work on a truck or anything, and all of a sudden, hey, Chief, we got the part in. Where'd it come from? Ain't got a clue, but we got it. So these guys were, and you'd go from unit to unit to, do you have this part? Or you have this part? And do you need this? Or, and we'd swap parts around. One of the guys that I knew, he had a box of binoculars come in one time. Come in through the supply system. And he called me and said, hey, man, he was in a field artillery unit. Said, you want you a nice pair of binoculars? Come see me. So, we'd go to where his unit was set up at. One of the guys got a Navy SEAL knife. He had quite a few of those come in. And so I got one of those hanging in there. But the one thing that I really wanted maybe was a couple of weapons I never did get. Because you had to do something to the weapon to be able to keep it. But I never did get close enough. I wanted me some kind of weapon or something like that. I got, some shells from different Iraqi vehicles, which were, some of them are Russian made. I got shells from stuff like that, but never did get me a weapon, but I sure wanted me one. It'd been nice to get me an AK, but I never did get it. It was, I still got a little thing in there that I put in one of the trailers to be sent back. It's just a little cup of sand from middle of Saudi Arabia and one from Iraq. We went on a mission one day and had to set up a fueling depot for helicopters. We had a fuel section, and I led them up into Iraq, and they set up, and I remember, talking to some of the pilots, and what's going on and up front and all that. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
By chance, did you hear any rumors about people getting sent stuff they weren't technically supposed to have?
No, I don't remember anything. No, and if they'd got something like that, I don't know if they'd want to share it very much, because if you got something like that, I don't know what it would be, but if you got something that you wasn't supposed to have, I don't know that you'd want to share it with a whole lot of people. It get around and might get to the wrong one, and so I don't remember anything like that. So
okay. Well, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about, that's everything I
okay.
could think to ask.
Like I said, Colin, I hope I've helped you out a little bit. So if there's anything else that you need, just you got my number. If you want to call me and ask me over the phone or something, then I'll see what I can do about getting it to you.
Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to take some photos.
Yeah, may have to move some things out of the way. But yeah, you're welcome to take some photos of the pictures and stuff. But this is my office. It's just a building that we put out back, and most of the stuff in here, I think, except for those pictures over there might be some other stuff, but that's related to the military. But most of the stuff that you see hanging in here is when I retired from the school system, and the kids just. I love children. I still miss those kids today. I still go up there and I play Santa Claus, and Johnny Appleseed and the train conductor. I dress up as all those different characters. Whatever I can, whatever the kids want, I'll go in there and read a book to them 2 or 3 times a year. And I love those kids, man. So they wrote a song about me when I retired. So I love the kids just as much as I did my soldiers, I guess. So yeah, well, you're welcome to take pictures, whatever you want.
Okay.